All right, here's a great case study here of a commercial project. A couple of buildings behind me here that you can see. This was one of the first projects that I did, and this is actually one property, one parcel where we were able to fit two buildings, so the density allowed for about 10,000 square feet of space that we could put on. I'm going to kind of walk here so you can see it. It allowed for about 10,000 square feet of space. We were able to put two buildings on here, share the driveway, share the parking, and maximize the property for the owner. So it's not always that you have to put one building or attach the buildings. Those, as you can see, were two buildings that were separated and detached. And so it's an interesting process with the commercial development. So it starts with the land, then you've got to go to the county, city, whatever your municipality is that kind of controls density and things, and check with them and find out what you can do with the property. What are your setbacks? What are the lot coverages? What kind of parking requirements for the different uses that you're planning, whether it's office, retail, hospitality, whatever it is, gathering, assembly, they all have different parking requirements. So you want to start there, start the process with the city, county, make sure that you understand what you can do with the property in terms of maximizing it, what your allowances are for density, parking, setbacks, things like that. This is a corner property, so the setbacks were quite different on the side and the front. A lot of times that eliminates a lot of property that you can use. You got to look for easements, for utilities, things like that. What is your stormwater requirements? What kind of utilities are available to the property? What are you going to have to do? Do you have to relocate power poles? Power lines, water sewer lines, things like that. So there's a lot of things you need to take into consideration when you're first looking at a commercial property to develop. So that's just part of your initial due diligence. Before you really go too far with it, you definitely do not want to buy the property till you know what you can do. Once you've satisfied the initial due diligence requirements and you have an idea of what you can do with the property, height, lot coverage, setbacks, parking, just all those different things, utilities, once you have satisfied that you can do sort of what you want to do or exactly what you want to do or more than you thought you could do, then you want to talk to some builders, whether they're design, build, or just general contractors that build the type of building that you're looking to build. Get an idea of what the costs are running, so then you can run some financial models, do your feasibility to make sure the project's going to work. Once you know that the project's going to work, the feasibility studies come through, the financials work, then you can proceed to the next step, which is to go ahead and start moving towards the architecturals and the design of the site. So you want to engage a civil engineer that does your site planning, site design, all of the things that need to be done to develop the site. After you engage the civil engineer to plan your site, then you want to start talking to architects about design and get an idea of the fees, what it's going to take, or you can engage a design build general contractor to do your project. So that's the process that you want to go through with developing a commercial parcel, from site evaluation, site feasibility, all the way through to site planning, architecturals, general contractor with the site. Sometimes it's recommended that you do soil studies, geotechnical studies, environmental studies, things like that to make sure the soils are sound, that what you're going to do is going to work. They're going to require that. So you do some borings and samplings, and you got to do your environmentals for your commercial loans, things like that. But that's basically how you develop a commercial site. This is a case study, one of the first projects I did out of the gate, two buildings on one parcel. Pretty creative, interesting project. It was a lot of fun. And that is the development process for small, small single tenant, multi-tenant, freestanding buildings. This was two buildings on one site, detached versus connecting them. Great use of the property, great way to do it, and a good long-term investment, good way to get started in the development business, pretty easy, low-risk project to get started with.